How many times have you been told to pull the club down to the back of the ball to get more lag or to have the proper swing? Well, what if I told you that can really hurt your lag? I know a lot of people that have the idea of pulling down to the ball. It actually makes them lose their lag early. They start to cast the club, and there's some science that really supports this and backs this up. So it's not always necessarily a terrible idea to pull down to the ball, but it can be if we do it the wrong way. Let me describe what's going on with the club, what's going on with the science of the club, and the proper motion from the top of the swing to get tons and tons of lag, to really feel like you're setting that club very sharp angle with the forearms and then releasing that on through to get a lot of speed. So first let's talk about it. I'm going to get a little complicated with the science, and then I'm really going to simplify it down. So don't be worried if I start to say things that you're not quite sure what they mean at first. So basically in this club, if we were to take the overall balance point, which is called the center of mass in this golf club, and I was to balance this club on my finger, you could take, this is my balance point of the club right here, and if I was to line up kind of the shaft or the butt end of the club with the middle of the head, that would be the center of mass. So basically right here where you can see my finger, if we put a circle around that, that would be the center of mass of the club. That's where the club is completely balanced. And basically the only way that I can move this club is to put force on the handle. So depending on which way I move or put force into the handle, whether I'm going out, whether I'm going in, up, down, any direction, that's going to determine how the center of mass moves and how the overall club moves itself. So to give you an example of this, I've done this before in another video. I believe it's video 1.3 in the lag section. So the Top Speed Golf system, go to the lag section, level 1, video 3, and we talk about what we call the speed trail. So basically it's how the trail or the center of mass in this club is going to trail behind whichever force you put into this handle. And again, I'm going to simplify it here in a minute. It won't be that complicated. But if I set this club on the ground, my center of mass is right here. My handle, or the force that I'm putting into the handle, is right here. If I pull that straight back toward the camera, everything's going to move in a straight line. So I can just keep pulling and pulling and pulling. Everything's going to move in a straight line. Now let's imagine for a second now that I set the club this way, and now I'm going to pull back toward the camera. So the way that I'm putting force into this club head, this handle, is directly back toward the camera, but now the center of mass is on the right side of that. Well, when I do that, if I pull this club pretty hard, you'll notice how the center of mass tries to line up with the handle. So there's momentum that's causing that center of mass to start to kick out this way in an effort to line up with the handle. If I do it the other direction, and now I put the center of mass that way and I pull back toward the camera again, we're going to see that tries to line up again. So again, there's momentum moving it this way. So whichever position the center of mass is in, whichever direction I pull my hands, is going to determine how the club head reacts to it. So to simplify this, the hands are going to lead the way. Whichever direction I pull this club, the hands is the only place that I can put force into this club. They're going to lead the way, and the center of mass is going to follow. So the club head, if we really want to simplify this down a lot, the head is always going to follow the hands, and whichever direction I put that energy, that force in the club, is which way the club head is going to move. So now let's go to the top of the swing. Let's talk about why this may not be good for your lag. So as I go to the top, let's imagine that I stop a little bit short of parallel, as a lot of people do, is they start their hands moving down, which is perfectly fine with a driver. But let's imagine that I stop a little short of parallel, and now from here, I start to pull my hands down to the ball. So the force I'm putting in the club goes down this way. I'm pulling, I'm getting to the left and pulling very quickly. Well, if I pull the club this way, the center of mass is back here. What's the center of mass going to want to do? What's that club head going to want to do? I think you guys know now, it's going to want to kick out this way, line up with the direction the hands are pulling, and now I'm going to start to lose that lag a little bit early. What's actually happening in the golf swing when we have a good amount of lag, the first thing that's happening is as we start our downswing, our hands are still moving back, and the first move down is going to be this direction. So we're kind of going away from our body as we start that downswing, and that's going to allow, now if I go this way, the club is going to start to down cock a little bit. It's going to start to lag down because my hands are actually moving out a little bit wider. And that's naturally going to happen if I keep my hands nice and relaxed, nice and soft, and I let my arms come down on their arc, going out away from my body and creating a lot of that width. The second piece to this, very, very crucial, is as I'm going this way, now as I start down, I want that club shaft to flatten out a bit. I don't want to have this club coming down very, very steep. Again, if I'm pulling to the ball, it's easy for me to get steep and over the top. I want to have this club shaft, you watch all the top pros, they're going to flatten out the shaft slightly as they start the downswing. As I go to the top, that club's going to flatten a bit and be a little bit under my shoulder. So it's not going to be coming down over top of my shoulder, it's going to be just outside my shoulder. And then from there, I got a lot of lag that I can release. So the way I want you to work on this is get this in 2 different pieces. And then we're going to add the third piece, which is really, really crucial. So number 1, I'm going to go to the top of my swing. Piece number 1 is as I start down, I'm going to let my hands work out away from my body and my wrists are going to be nice and loose. You can imagine your knuckles. If there was kind of a ceiling or a wall here, I'm going to slide those across that ceiling and I'm going to let the momentum of my club head continue to fall back, and that's going to allow me to get some lag. Number 2, I'm going to feel like as I'm doing that, my club drops a bit behind my shoulders. Now that's going to happen. I'm rotating, inward rotation from my shoulder. My forearm rotates a little bit inward, almost like I'm turning a doorknob to the left. Same thing's happening with my right arm. It's rotating a little bit flatter from there. As that's happening, we got to make sure that we're opening the body. So I want to get to here. I got to make sure my body's opening up as I'm doing this with my hands and arms. So I don't want to just keep my body back here and then swing across. I'm going to go ahead and have my body working to the left as I'm creating this angle of lag, and then I can go ahead and release that. Now the third piece that I mentioned there, the final piece, is going to be when we get this acceleration, when we get this club whipping through there. So now that I've gotten a lot of lag, I got this club really setting at a sharp angle, I've got a bunch of stored up energy. I've kind of felt like I turned the doorknob to the right a little bit as I'm getting this lag angle. Now I need to go ahead and release this and let everything turn on through to the left. I have a great video in the straight line release section where I do a hammer throw. I believe it's in level 2, and I talk about throwing that hammer, letting that go. I want to store up this angle of lag, and boom, I want to let it go. Let's put all 3 of those pieces together. I want you to do about 100 reps of each one. So number 1, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to work on getting my hands soft, starting down wide, letting the club drop in. Maybe feel like you're scraping your knuckles across the little ceiling that could be here. Number 2, I'm going to make sure that I allow my club to flatten out. As I'm doing this, I'm letting my body go ahead and rotate open. That's okay. And then the final piece, number 3, after I've got that stored up lag, I've got to go ahead and let that go. Feel like you're throwing the club, letting it go so that you can get that acceleration and you can release all that built up energy. So work on 100 repetitions, focusing on each one of these 3 pieces. Get those all in together, do some practice swings doing that, and then we'll go ahead, tie it all together, hit a shot, and we'll see how it does. All right guys, so I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. If you did, I got a fantastic bonus for you. How would you like to have more lag in your golf swing? We know it's crucial to getting more distance and more speed. We got to get that lag and then we got to release it. Well, I got a preview of a video that's going to go over the #1 lag mistake I see. I see it time and time again, and some people are actually even taught this, that it's going to help your lag when in reality it hurts your lag. So I'm going to have a preview of that video pop up here in a second. Go ahead and click the link that pops up in your screen or down below in the description. You'll be able to watch that entire video, get instant access to it. Plus you're going to get instant access to 5 videos for my Top Speed Golf system. So good luck to you guys. I'll see you on that lag video. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Click that thumbs up button. That really helps us to grow the channel, helps us to boost up these videos and keep more videos coming your way. And also remember to subscribe. That way you'll see our latest videos. Good luck to you guys. I'll see you in the lag video. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Clay Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see. And in this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position. Exact same thing happens when we're building lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a 3-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be. I want to use the full length of this club to build lag and then release lag.